Hello everyone, welcome back to Foot Forecast. In today's video, I'm going to be going through my Everton keep and sell for next season. And it's been a bit of a disappointing finish for the season for Everton. They're a side that were looking like they were potentially going to be in Europe next season, but they haven't won in their last 6 games, which has resulted in them looking like they will miss out as they're currently in 12th place as of recording. And I guess the question is, would I be looking to keep David Moyes as manager for next season? Absolutely, I would. I think he's good enough to be Everton manager. Maybe if a better manager comes up, then I would be tempted to do this, as it could be their manager that sort of progresses Everton forward. But I think that's unlikely to happen, so I'll be looking to keep Moyes as manager. So let's get into the keep and sell, and starting off with the keepers. The first keeper is Jordan Pickford, and of course I will be keeping Pickford. The only way he leaves Everton in the summer is if a really good club comes in and Pickford wants to leave, but I just can't see that happening. I think he's just going to stay loyal to Everton for basically the rest of his career. Then I'm on to Mark Travers. I'm going to look to keep Travers as a second choice. Could you upgrade this position? Potentially, but I think he's fine as a second choice. Then I'm on to the last keeper, and it is Tom King, and I'm happy to keep Tom King as a third choice. So keep all the keepers the same for Everton. Then I'm on to the right backs, and starting off with Patterson. I'm going to look to sell Patterson this season. I don't think he's good enough to start for Everton or even compete for a place for Everton. And I think Moyes has proven that this season. He's barely been used at all, so I think that's the correct decision around Patterson. So then on to Seamus Coleman. He's already announced he will be leaving Everton at the end of the season, so he has to go into the release. But what a career he's had for Everton. He stayed loyal for so long, and they only signed him for 60 grand. Then I'm on to the centre-halves, and I've got 2 centre-halves to discuss at the same time, and that is Michael Keane and James Tarkowski. And I'm looking to keep one of these players around as a squad option. And I think the one I'm going to look to keep is James Tarkowski, which means I will be selling Michael Keane. The reason why is I just think Tarkowski is a better player than Keane. In saying this, Keane's actually not had a bad season for Everton, but he's just not as reliable. Then I'm on to Jake O'Brien. I'm going to look to keep Jake O'Brien for next season. He's going to mainly play as a centre-half. He just doesn't offer enough going forward as a right back, but let's put O'Brien into the keep. Then I'm on to Jarrad Branthwaite. This is a player that Everton have missed hugely this season due to injuries, and of course I'm going to be keeping Jarrad Branthwaite. Could there be some interest in him in the summer? Potentially, but I think he will remain at Everton because he's had those injury problems this season. Then I'm on to the left backs, and starting off with Asnu. I'm going to look to loan out Asnu. He's only played 1 game for Everton this season. He needs to go somewhere where he's going to be playing consistent minutes, so I'm going to send him out on loan. Then I'm on to Mykolenko. I think some people would say sell Mykolenko, and I'd understand this, but I'd be looking to keep him around as a squad option at left back for next season. I actually think defensively he's not bad. It's just going forward is where he struggles. So I'm going to keep Mykolenko around. I think it's not the worst player to have as a squad option who's not starting week in, week out. Then I'm on to the midfielders, and starting off with Idrissa Gana Gueye. I'm 100% keeping Idrissa Gana Gueye. He's now into his mid-30s, but he continues to perform week in, week out, and just age is not a number for this player. I'm 100% keeping Gana Gueye, and most likely as a starter for next season. Then I'm on to James Garner. I think he's Everton's best player this season, and of course I'm going to be keeping Garner around Everton. I think the only way he goes is if there is some interest in him. I think he's such an underrated player, so I don't think this is going to happen. Then I'm on to Irabunen. I'm going to keep Irabunen around as a squad option in midfield for next season. He's still a young player, and he has shown potential. I think he's a decent sort of third choice midfielder. Then I'm on to Merlin Roll. Merlin Roll was a new signing from Everton this season, and it was a loan deal, but it has now been made permanent for about £21 million. So far, it's not looking like a great deal, but I still think you keep him around for next season and hope that he shows why Everton bought him for that fee. So I'm going to put him in the keep. If you got a decent offer from him in the summer, I would be tempted to sell, but if not, I look to remain patient with Merlin Roll. Then I'm on to Harrison Armstrong. He was outstanding at Preston in the first half of the season, easily their best player, which resulted in being recalled, and he just hasn't featured enough since being recalled. I'm going to look to loan Harrison Armstrong back out, but he's definitely a player for the future. I think he should be going to a top championship side, one of the sides that they're challenging promotion next season, because I think he's that sort of level. Then I'm on to Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. I'm going to look to keep Dewsbury-Hall around for sure, one of Everton's best players. I think this is an easy keep. Could there be some interest in him in the summer? Maybe, but I think he will remain at Everton. Then I'm on to Carlos Alcaraz, also known as Charlie Alcaraz. I'm going to look to keep him around next season as basically the backup 10 for Dewsbury Hall. And he can also play a variety of positions. I'm going to put him in the keep. So then I'm on to the attackers, and starting off with Dwight McNeil. And I think I'd be looking to sell Dwight McNeil. I think Everton have moved on from this sort of player that's quite one-dimensional. And I think Everton need better than McNeil. I think he will go in the summer, so I'm going to put him in the sell, and I'd be looking to sell him. Then I'm on to Tyreek George. This was a signing that Everton brought in January on loan from Chelsea. I think he's going to be a good player in the future. He's definitely got the pace and the power for the Premier League. And I would look to potentially activate that optional future fee, which I think is around £20 million. So I'm going to put Tyreek George in the keep. I think he'd be a decent option for Everton, a good option off the bench. Then I'm on to Iliman Ndiaye, one of Everton's best players. I would say Everton's most talented player, and I'm going to put Ndiaye into the keep. The only way he leaves is if a club comes in for him. I think out of all the players, he's probably the most likely player to leave in the summer, but I think he does stay. Then I'm on to Tyler Dibling, who is a summer signing from Southampton, and he was brought in for a big fee, but so far he hasn't really impressed, and I expected more from Dibling, but he's still a player for the future, and I think he's a player worth keeping around for sure. I'm going to put Dibling in the keep, and he'll be in a depth attacker for next season. You could look to loan out Dibling potentially to someone like Southampton if they come up next season, but I would be keeping him around. I still think he can offer something off the bench, and he's still a very talented player, is Dibling. Then I'm on to Jack Grealish. I'd be looking to make this deal permanent in the summer. I think Everton actually have an optional future fee, which is quite expensive. But I think City would be willing to let Grealish go for cheaper, especially if you consider the fact that he's out of contract the following season. So I think Grealish will remain at Everton. There's a chance you could potentially loan him in and then sign him on a free, but I think most likely Everton will have to purchase Grealish. I think City will ask for a fee for Jack Grealish in the summer. And he's just a great player for Everton to have as a starting left winger for next season. Now let's go on to the strikers, and starting off with Beto, and I'm also going to talk about Barry at the same time. I'm looking to keep one of Beto and Barry, and the one I've decided to keep is Beto, and I'm going to look to sell Barry. Now the reason why is because I think Beto offers more off the bench, and I'm looking for a backup striker. I think he just provides a bit of chaos when he comes on, and he does have that ability, Beto, to have a really good game before Everton, as we've seen. But the problem with Beto is he can be inconsistent, but so far Barry I think has been worse than Beto, and I think he's had some really poor games with Everton, and the Everton support has turned against Barry, and rightfully so. His attitude stinks, and for that reason I'm going to put Barry in the sell and keep Beto as the backup striker. Now let's go for a potential lineup for Everton next season, and I'm going to go with a 4-2-3-1, as this is the formation Moyes has basically used all season. And in goal, I'm going with Jordan Pickford. I think that's self-explanatory. Then on to the right back, and Everton do need to go purchase a right back as well as a left back. These fullbacks need to be good defensively, but also offer something going forward. Then I'm on to the centre-halves, and I'm starting Jarrad Branthwaite, and I'm looking to purchase a centre-half to play next to Branthwaite. And the reason why is because I think Tarkowski and O'Brien are decent, but I think you can get better. And the other reason why is because of Branthwaite's injury problems. If Branthwaite continues to be injured next season, then I want a starting centre-half to play, because I want to be comfortable with a backup centre-half or Tarkowski and O'Brien as the two. So I think they need to go and get a centre-half. A great shout could be John Stones, who's out of contract with Manchester City at the end of the season. He's already confirmed he is leaving, and he's obviously a former Everton player. So I wouldn't be surprised if they look at this, but something that will put them off is the injury concerns with a player like Stones. Then I'm on to the two in midfield, and I've got Idrissa Gana Gueye and James Garner. There is no reason to change that. And then further forward, I've got Dewsbury Hall. Once again, he is a brilliant player for Everton, and there's no reason to look for someone else. to play in this role. Then on the wings, I've got Grealish and Iliman. That's absolutely fine. And up front, I'm looking for a striker, and two strikers that Everton could consider is, first of all, Richarlison. Bring him back to Everton. He obviously left Everton to Spurs, but it looks like Richarlison will be leaving at the end of the season, so you could consider making an offer for a player like this. And another option could be Liam Delap. Delap's really struggled at Chelsea this season, but we've seen previously in the Premier League with Ipswich, he can be a very good forward for that sort of side. And what I like about Delap is I think he would really suit this Moyes system. He's a bit of a battering ram, is Liam Delap. There is actually a possibility where Everton go in for Richarlison and Liam Delap, and then they sell Beto and Barry. If that's possible, I would probably do it, because I think those two are way better than Beto and Barry. Now let's look at a depth lineup for Everton next season, and there's quite a bit of depth Everton have right now. So in goal, I've got Travis. Then at right back, I am looking to purchase someone, and once again, it's a fullback that's good defensively and offers something going forward. Then onto the centre halves, I've got Tarkowski and O'Brien. That's definitely good enough depth. And then at left back, I've got Mikalenko. As I've already said, I think as a squad option, he's not bad. Instead of a defensive fullback, you maybe bring on the last 20 minutes of a game where you're looking to hold on to it. Then into the two in midfield, I've got Merlin Roll and Arabunan. I don't mind the idea of maybe selling Merlin Roll or loaning him out and getting something better, but I think the midfield is such a strength of Everton where you don't really need any more depth in that position. Then moving forward, I've got Carlos Alcaraz, and then on the right, I've got Dibbling, and off the left, I've got Tyreek George, two young, talented wingers who I think provide some good energy off the bench and players for the future. And then up front, I've got Beto. As I've already said, you could look to sell Beto and get better as the backup number 9. So that is the end of this video where I've gone through my Everton rebuild for next season. And if Everton make some good signings in the summer, I really think they can challenge for Europe next season. And I think they should be targeting cups, because I think they've got a good enough squad to maybe have a bit of a go at a League Cup or an FA Cup and potentially win something. Please let me know your thoughts on this rebuild. Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? And if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well as liking the video.